Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this year's Cathedral Prep and Villa Maria Academy Financial Aid Meeting. We really appreciate you taking the time to learn more about how to get help with the tuition, and we're happy to do everything we can to make this as easy as possible for you. It seems complicated, it seems impossible, but I've been here a long time, and I've seen a lot of families make miracles happen when they thought this would never be able to be possible. We look forward to working with each and every one of you. Before we get underway with the presentation and all the information, I'd like to introduce the other folks who will be presenting or helping out with tonight's meeting. So first, I am Tim Doherty, the Vice President of Enrollment Management at Prep and Villa. I would like to introduce first our Vice President of Finance, and his name is Ross Oresco.
Ross, I think you're on mute.
All right, sorry about that, everybody. Rookie mistake, shouldn't have happened. But Ross Oresco, I'm the Vice President of Finance and Operations here. I was just actually saying that, back in the fall, when we hoped we would be here in person potentially, we were pretty bummed that this would be virtual. But sure enough, we get a nice reminder of eerie Januaries yesterday, and now we get to all be in hopefully a warm spot to watch this meeting instead of having to trudge out to an auditorium for the meeting. So we hope you find this useful. Tim Doherty and Mike Zemsky, who you'll meet in a minute, are going to be doing the bulk of the presentation tonight. I just wanted to reiterate or to let you know that we have a great team of people here that works really hard to work with our families, make the tuition as affordable as possible. And so, you're going to hear a lot about that tonight. We're all accessible, very accessible, and happy to help with whatever we can. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us, to me, to whoever here, and we can definitely do the best we can to get you what you need. So we hope you find this evening's program informative, and I'll pass it back to Tim. Thank you.
Thank you, Ross. Now I'd like to introduce the Associate Director of Enrollment Management at Prep and Villa, Miss Christine Utt.
All right, thanks, Tim. I am Christine Utt. I work directly under Tim in enrollment. So if anytime you can't get a hold of Tim, you can always call me. You can't get a hold of me, you can always call Tim. We're thankful to have you here with us tonight. Looking forward to meeting you all and helping you through the admissions process, and hopefully seeing you Thursday at our open house. So, Tim?
Thank you, Christine. So the final person I would like to introduce is Mike Zemsky. He works with Fax, and he's going to be providing you with a lot of helpful information this evening. So Mike.
Tim, thank you. This is kind of a really neat experience. It's as Ross said, it's saved my drive to Erie, which is kind of nice, and I have a heater at my feet, and I hope you're warm and comfortable as well, everyone. So look forward to speaking with you in a little bit. Thank you.
All righty. So again, I'm going to get going with the presentation, but I just want to tell you that I'm a prep graduate. When I was at Cathedral Prep, my parents, it was tough to afford the tuition. We had to make a lot of sacrifices. We didn't have a lot of money. We didn't go on vacations. My dad drove $500 cars. I mean, we made a lot of sacrifices so we could be so that me and my brother could go to Cathedral Prep. And I feel so blessed to work with families and help them through that process. So I look forward to working with each and every one of you. And I speak for Christine too, and the other my other colleagues at Prep and Villa. We will do whatever we can to help you send your child to our school. We will do whatever we can, and I'll meet with you personally. I will even do your applications with you I'll do whatever I can to make sure that you apply for everything that you're eligible for and that we do everything on time and correctly. So please, after this meeting, if you have any questions or something you don't understand, let us know. I'm going to switch up to my the PowerPoint now, and so you'll just hear me, but you will not be seeing my face for while I'm presenting. All right. Okay, so I want to talk about this year's tuition. So the actual cost to educate a student at Prep or Villa for this current school year, and the way that we calculate that is that we divide the cost it takes to operate the school by the number of students in the building. And so it's about $14,800 to educate one child. That's what it cost us. The cost of the tuition for this school year, though, is $10,195. Okay, so when parents say, well, can't you make it any more affordable? Can't you do anything better? I mean, why is it so much money? Well, I want to let you know that we are doing everything we can. The Advancement Office, which oversees all fundraising, they do a really good job at having a big gap between the cost of tuition and the actual cost to educate a child. So essentially, every student's getting a tuition scholarship of over $4,600. Now, what's exceptionally cool about this is that this school year, because of COVID, we didn't even raise the tuition at all. Probably the first time in history. But that 2021 tuition was exactly the same for the 1920 school year tuition. And we were able to do that because of the generosity of donors. So when families talk about the cost of tuition, I just want to emphasize that my colleagues are doing everything they can to make it as affordable as possible. And I also want to let you know that if you have been looking for the cost of tuition, we don't publish it on our website. And the reason is it's very misleading. Over 70% of families do not pay what the tuition is. They get discounts, scholarships, and financial aid. So I just wanted to point that out. So here's a little bit more information with regards to the tuition. The tuition is $10,195. If you do not belong to a Catholic parish, there is a fee of $325. So it is a bummer, but it's not huge. However, there is no technology fee. There's no required iPad insurance. There is no fundraiser fee. There is no yearbook fee. There's nothing else. So we're not going to nickel and dime you. Okay. The only other fees are athletic fees. And so we have $150 for one sport, a total of $200 for two sports, or a total of $225 for three sports. But right there, that's it. You're not going to get nickel and dimed. We're not going to surprise you with a fundraising fee or required iPad insurance or anything like that. So that's just a look at the costs. Now we do offer some discounts, and I'll talk about those. First of all, if you are a graduate, if either parent is a graduate of Prep or Villa, your child will receive a $100 discount every year. So if you have multiple children, and either at Prep or Villa, and eventually in a couple of years, it'd just be Prep, you would get $500 discount per child. So if you have two children, you would have a $1,000 discount, and for three children, you would have a $1,500 discount. So the more children you enroll, the more you save. So we'll move on. So there's also the host family discount. Now, if you host an international student, you get a free tuition. There is certain criteria. You have to be a non-smoking home. The student has to have his own bedroom. There's some other background checks we have to do. But if you would be interested in ever being a host family, you can contact me and I'll be happy to work you through that process. I will tell you that COVID put a big hit in the international program. 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was difficult to find host families, and I was actually pursuing them. Now we don't have that many opportunities, but if you would like to go on a waiting list, you can always contact me. I'll put you on our waiting list, and when an opportunity arises, I will ask if you're interested. So if that's something you'd want to do, please let me know. It's a really great program and a lot of cool opportunities. And hopefully after the pandemic has ended, we'll be able to build that program back up again. There's also the employee or coaching discount. Now, that's going to depend on your status in your department. For example, are you a part-time employee, a full-time employee? Are you a head coach? Are you an assistant coach? And opportunities arise in the offices, the event center. I should change that to the Haggerty Family Event Center, MTA, maintenance, etc. Typically, when those opportunities arise, we send out a notice to all the parents. So that's something to consider. If you are interested in employment with Cathedral Prep or Villa Maria Academy, you can always let me know. I have a list of parents who are interested in case something opens up. So now I'm going to talk more about the scholarships that are available. And for this year, I'm going to break them down between Cathedral Prep scholarships and Villa Maria Academy scholarships. The reason for that is that the donors who provided the funding for these scholarships, they designated them for one campus or another. So for this next school year with our freshmen, there may be a campus that's just for male students or just for female students, and that's because their donor designated that way to that campus. Next year, the boys will be at Prep, the girls will still be at Villa before we transition to the co-ed campus the following fall. Now, next school year, I just want to clear up that next school year with next year's 8th graders, all of the scholarships will be for the Cathedral Prep campus, and we'll make sure that everyone, that we don't lose scholarships. We're going to have the same or more scholarships or the same or more amount of funding in scholarships. So, so if there is some confusion, why is this for boys only or girls only? Well, the donor designated that for this fiscal year, and we made the announcement after they made the donation. And so for this year, this will be the final year where we have just for males or just for females or just for prep or just for Villa. So, but I just want to preface this section with that information. So first at Cathedral Prep, we have the entrance exam scholarships, and the students who received those or were offered those had been notified. They're for the students who take the top 10, receive the top 10 scores on the entrance exam. We also have the Sitersky Scholarship. So this is for 8th grade boys in the parochial schools. Everyone at this point who has been eligible has been mailed an application. If there are any late applicants, they should be available in your school office, or you can reach out and we'll be happy to send one to you. They will also be made available online in the next week or so, because we're going to send an email with all this information in it as well. But those scholarships are $1,000 each, and they go to 3 different students. And you apply for them, you need a parent recommendation, a teacher recommendation, a principal recommendation, and you receive that scholarship at your grade school graduation. So you won't know that you've received it until that time. And if you see me at your grade school graduation, there's a chance that you got that scholarship. We also have the essay scholarships at Cathedral Prep. These are in the categories of English or writing, the Catholic identity essay, and the alumni essay. So later this month, every eligible student will be mailed the materials for that application, and they are in the amounts of $500 and $1,000. And then we also have the arts scholarships. So these are in the amounts of $500. There are the visual arts, which would be like painting or drawing or ceramics, drama, which would be acting, vocal, which would be singing, dance, and then instrumental, if your son plays an instrument. I strongly encourage incoming freshmen to apply for these scholarships. Upperclassmen can apply for them as well, but almost every year we have fewer incoming freshmen apply for these scholarships than scholarships available. So if your son is involved in any of those arts programs, there is no reason why you should not take advantage. And every year there's kids I know that play the guitar, that play the saxophone, that sing, that do theater, and they do not apply for these scholarships, and you're pretty much throwing $500 away. Every little bit is going to add up. When I'm working with the families in the spring, every little bit adds up. All right, so we also have the Mantilla scholarship for Cathedral Prep freshmen for the boys. Now, these scholarships would be in the amount of $5,000, and there is no special application form. All you have to do is apply for financial aid through fax, and the financial aid committee will determine the recipients. But those are $5,000 each year, and once you receive it, you get that $5,000 award guaranteed each following year. Now, the Mantilla scholarship is designed for families with moderate incomes with that maybe wouldn't get as high of an award, but because they have a large family size or other circumstances, the cost of tuition is still out of reach. So that is kind of the background with that scholarship. But the financial aid committee will determine who they believe would be eligible and contact those families directly. And then we also have the Catholic School Graduation Scholarship. So every Catholic grade school in the Diocese of Erie will have one recipient, and that scholarship will be the amount of $1,000. Now that will be for prep or villa, so it will be a boy or girl for this spring, and we will announce that at the Catholic grade school graduations. Last year we were not able to attend the graduations because of COVID, and so the principals announced them, but hopefully this spring we can have a Cathedral Prep or Villa Maria Academy representative present those at the graduation ceremonies. Now I will move on to the Villa Maria Academy scholarships. And just like with the prep campus, we have the entry exam scholarships for the students with the top 10 scores in the amount of $1,000 or $2,500. Those are, again, renewed every single year, guaranteed. Then we have the Medaille Scholarship. So these are $2,000 scholarships, and they go to the students who scored in the top 5% of the exam. And the eligible students will be contacted when it's a time to apply for that. We also have the academic scholarships, and for incoming freshmen, if you're in the top 10% of your 8th grade class, you are eligible. They are $500, and all the applications are emailed to the students. And so there'd be an application. You would have to have verification from your school principal that you are in the top 10% of your 8th grade class, and then you would get that $500. For the upperclassmen, you have to have a minimum GPA of a 3.75. and it's awarded to the top 2 applicants in each grade. And those applications are, available in the Villa main office. Sorry for that typo. Move on to the foreign language scholarships. So these are for students who are taking a 3rd or 4th year of a language. And so a 10th or 11th grade student would be eligible to apply, and their amount of $500. And any student who would be in 10th or 11th grade right now interested in receiving one of those scholarships would talk to the language teacher, and they would have the materials for you and help you apply for that scholarship. Just like Cathedral Prep Campus, the Villa Maria Academy campus will also have the arts scholarships. They have them in the categories of dance, digital arts, and the performing arts, which would include vocal, instrumental, and drama. And all the application materials are going to be emailed and also mailed to all the applicants, and those scholarships are also in the amount of $500. The Villa Maria Academy students, the incoming freshmen, are eligible for those Catholic school graduation scholarships, which I just referred to. One student from every Catholic grade school in the Diocese of Erie will receive a $1,000 scholarship for their freshman year. We will announce that at your grade school graduation. So if you see me or Christine Ut at your graduation, there's a good chance that someone received that scholarship. I also want to talk about the CESP, the Catholic Elementary Scholarship Program. What this does is this guarantees a minimum of $3,000 in tuition assistance, regardless of income, for incoming freshmen graduating from a Catholic grade school. So sometimes people think, well, that's $3,000 in addition. So if my family qualified for $3,000, then I would get $3,000 in addition, and it's $6,000. That's not the case. This program guarantees a minimum of $3,000. So if you graduate from a Catholic grade school and you apply for financial aid through the Fax Application, you are guaranteed that minimum of $3,000. You need to do it by March 1st, and families who have a greater need can get more financial aid. So there is more help beyond the $3,000, but you're guaranteed that minimum. But again, you must apply for tuition assistance through fax, and upperclassmen are eligible. So upperclassmen, if they received the CESP for this current school year, and they apply for aid again through fax by March 1st, then they would be eligible to receive it next year again. And if you have any questions about that, you can always contact me, Christine, or Ross Oresco. So those were the scholarships. Now I will talk about some like financial aid, need-based sources. So the Catholic Diocese of Erie and the Star Foundation, that's one major source. And those applications are on the Prep and Villa website. They're due March 1st. They have a very strict deadline. You're going to have to include your 2020 tax documents and a $20 payment. The awards usually range, like $300 to $500. But it's every bit adds up, and so they're a good source of funding. Then there is the aid through Cathedral Prep and Villa Marie Academy. And to apply for this aid, you have to apply online through fax through the Prep and Villa website. Those applications are due March 1st, and they must include your 2020 tax documents. If your 2020 tax documents aren't going to be complete, you can use your 19 tax documents, but you would want to include your 2020 W-2s. So if any family is going to have a problem with their having their 2020 taxes done, you're going to want to give us a call. We can help you through that process. And what I would like to do real quick is I'd want to share my screen and just show you how to access these applications. So if you can just bear with me here. All right. So let me pull up my screen here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to prep.com. So when you go to our website, this is the main page. You'll click on the admissions tab, and you'll click on the admissions tab, and then you will go to tuition and financial aid. You're going to scroll down and go to financial aid and forms. So to access the diocesan financial aid application, there's a link here, 2122 diocesan tuition aid form. You click on that and you get this PDF right here. You will have to print this out, complete it, and then mail it in to the address on the last page of the form. You will need your 2020 Pennsylvania tax returns. They will not take your 2019 returns. You will need your 2020 tax returns and your 2020 W-2s. If you have a child in middle school, at a Catholic grade school, the application deadline is usually a little bit longer, but this year the application deadline is March 1st for everyone. So that's how you would access the diocesan form. So then the other application is the fax form. And to start that application, all you do is click this fax logo here. And then when you click that, you would log in. Now I created a fake account. So you'll click on that, you'll click create an account, you'll log in, and you'll hit this here where it says start fax application. You go there, and then it will just guide you through the process. Okay, so you're gonna give information on your family, your income, your expenses, and at the end here, this is right at the end, you can type in circumstances that maybe aren't reflected on your tax return. Maybe you have, a disabled child, or maybe you have some circumstances that are impacting your finances that aren't necessarily reflected in the other in the other documents or other questions. So for this application, the fax application, you will want to have your 2020 tax return and your 2020 W-2s. If you do not have your 2020 tax return done, you can have your 2020 W-2s and your 2019 1040. But if you have any questions with that, let us know. But these two sources here, the fax application and the diocesan one, that is where the bulk of everyone's tuition assistance is going to come from. And if you need help creating your account, setting up or creating your account and completing the application, scanning your documents, uploading your documents, and all that stuff, I would love to personally meet with you and help you do that, and so would Christina. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint, so just bear with me here. All right. Okay, so I'll continue with the need-based sources. Junior Achievement is an organization that offers a lot of financial aid. The scholarships in the past have ranged from $1,000 to $8,000, and in order to receive those scholarships, you have to attend a school that partners with Junior Achievement. They do these really great programs with students, and the students who participate in those programs can then apply for scholarships. So I would strongly encourage you to ask your grade school principal if they partner with Junior Achievement. We don't have any say in those scholarships, but Junior Achievement is a great program, and you would have to go to your grade school principal to ask if they do that. Also, Cathedral Prep does have a Junior Achievement program. They will be doing that this spring. So if any current students, and in Villamere Academy as well, if any current students are interested in that, please pay attention, because we'll be sending some emails out to parents later this spring when we're ready to start that program again. GCAC also gives financial aid. In the past, the awards have ranged from $500 to $900. The last few years, though, they've all been pretty much $500. And the website gcac.org is going to have those applications. There's no fee for that. Really, really simple application. And I would encourage a lot of families to apply for that as well. We also ask families, if we encourage them to inquire with their parish. Not every parish has awards for tuition assistance, but a lot of them do. And even if they don't have a program, if you are a regular attendee to Mass on Sundays and you happen to have a relationship with your pastor, a lot of times they will help with tuition. St. Stephen's Parish offers the Hispanic Scholarship. Now, St. Stephen's Parish is where a lot of the Hispanic community goes. The Masses are done in Spanish. And so if you are a parishioner there, you can contact them. They offer, a lot of times their scholarships are $1,000 or more. So it's a really great way to get help with the tuition. So then some reminders. The deadline for the diocesan and Prep Villa financial aid is March 1st, 2021, and you have to have your W-2s, 2020 tax returns, and supporting documents. Like I said, you could have your 19 tax returns with your 2020 W-2s. The diocesan deadline is strict. If it comes in March 2nd, they're not looking at it. The Prep and Villa financial aid, it's not as strict, but after March 1st, you're not getting as much help. So if you want to apply for aid in July or August, that's fine, and we'll give you some financial aid, but it's not going to be the same as if you applied before the March 1st deadline. If you have any questions or you need any help, please contact me at Prep or contact Christine. Her office is at Villa, but we will be more than happy to work with you on this. So that's my portion, and the only thing I can emphasize is call us, email us. We will work with you every step of the way. Almost always this works out. Last year, I did the numbers. Last year, about 85% of the students who were accepted to Prep and Villa ended up enrolling. Most of the students who were accepted ended up enrolling. So for almost everyone who wanted to be here, we didn't let finances get in the way. And this is during a pandemic. Because of Ross Oresco, because of our school presidents, because of the administrators, because of the donors we have, we're able to make this happen. I would seriously be shocked if you want your child to graduate from Cathedral Prep. I would be shocked if we weren't able to work with you. So I know your family's going to have specific circumstances or unusual things going on, give us a call. We'll tell you the best way to make it happen for you. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Mike Zemsky. Now he's the official from Fax, and he's going to go over a little bit more about what they do and how that process works. But we'll be back with you after him to see if anyone has any questions. So Mike.
Great, Tim. Thank you. I hope am I coming through? All right. You can hear? Yes. All right. Good. I'm going to try and share my screen as Tim was trying to share his screen, and let's see. Pull that PowerPoint up, and we'll start that from the beginning. This is about Fax Grant and Aid Assessment, and Tim did a great job of sharing all the information about the scholarships and financial aid that's available. Really do appreciate the introduction, because it was a very nice introduction to what we do here at Fax. So I'll share a little bit more information about the grant and aid assessment process, which is the financial aid application that Tim spoke about, and also the actively managed payment plans. It's the payment plan to help you pay tuition at the school. What grant and aid assessment is, it facilitates that assessment of needs, so it sort of levels the playing field. We provide the objective data, so financial data, and at the end of the application, as Tim said, there's a section for you to put sort of a narrative of any kind of special things that might be happening. It'll allow the school to review that information, make adjustments, reanalyze the situation. Perhaps there's some kind of financial circumstance that happens, but the school can help to assess a family's financial need from the information that you provide. It's accessible. The nice thing about it is the application is mobile friendly. I remember being at Cathedral Prep a few years ago during the live presentations, and a parent came up at the end and said, "I've completed mine already. I just went onto the iPad when you gave the address and I completed everything." That was phenomenal. But it is that simple. It's easy for you to complete, and as Tim said, if you need any help to complete it, Tim will be there to help you maneuver through the process. Tim did show the financial aid place to go on the website. I have sort of screenshots of that. Of course, you go to admissions and come down to financial aid, the financial aid forms, and as he described, here's the big Fax logo, and that'll get you in to create your account if you need to. And you only need to create the account if you're applying for financial aid, and I'll go over that a little bit further. So he did this one better, actually, which was very cool, to set up the account and show you where the things are, which is great. It's an online experience. So while the diocese requires a paper application, this is not a paper application. If you skip a section, it's going to say an error message that you need to complete this before you move on. It'll also give you little videos about the supporting documents that you need. If you need that W-2 and that 1020 to be uploaded, it'll show you the required documentation. And if you have a business, it's also going to want your business tax documents as well. We've seen a lot more of these in the past years. For example, a 2106 form for like hobby income or things like that the IRS would require. So with the propensity of side hustles and things like that, we've seen those kinds of documentation come through too. So all that documentation is there, and we give you a couple of videos to watch to see what that is. If you log on, you will see that your application is incomplete. If there's anything missing, we'll also show you what things are missing, and little red marks down at the bottom. If it's complete, you get the little green box that says your application is complete, and it shows you what's going on. So if you need a Spanish translation, there's a one-click button for Spanish that's at the top of the website. You can click it and fill it out in Spanish if you need that as well. And as Tim said, that online application is $30 per family. So it's not per person, it's per family, and that would cover that financial aid application through Fax for all those things. One of the things that Prep Villa does is have payment plans for tuition, because once you get all the financial aid taken off of that tuition that Tim talked about, then there's going to have to be a payment plan done. Are you going to pay in one payment? Are you going to pay in two payments? Maybe you want to pay your that tuition over time, and Fax provides that kind of service to you as well. We allow online payments with a debit card or credit card. You can also do an ACH by a phone. You can also do the mobile payment site. You can do automatic debits from a savings or checking account. You can apply payments to upcoming charges. You can catch up on payments if they've been missed or put on hold for whatever reason. You can switch between a checking account or a savings account or even a credit card and go back and forth with that. I can manage that demographic information feed for you. So if your email changes, you can change your email address on there as well. And our service is 24/7. You can call and talk to Lincoln-based fax personnel. The company is based in Lincoln, Nebraska. So we're in the United States, and we don't outsource our call center. It is you're talking to fax folks when you call. Schools get payment security out of this. We deposit the funds directly into the school's bank account, which has been an unbelievable time saver with COVID. There's no funds that come to the schools. The schools get them right into their bank. We also provide a follow-up service and a reminder service. So when your payment is coming up, we'll send you a reminder either by email or text that you have a payment that's coming up due, and we'll also let you know that your payment's been received. So we do that reminder and notification as follow-up as part of our service. And that allows the schools to be able to seek those additional funds that Tim was talking about, rather than chasing families down for tuition payments that might be due or telling them that they have a payment due or anything like that. We automate that process for schools, and it gives the school convenient reporting to see where they are within the process. Fax is not a bank. We're not a credit company. We're not a collection agency. We don't, we do take the tax forms for the financial aid process, but a payment plan does not reflect a credit rating or anything like that. We don't need to do any of those kinds of things. It's not a loan, it's just a payment plan. An easier way to look at that is this: the school's billing platform. It can offer convenient, flexible payment options. So you can pick how you want to pay, you can pick the dates that are available to you, you can choose how you'd like to do that over how many months. And that helps to reduce that time and cost associated with billing and receivables tracking. We're used in over 7,000 schools across the country. We are the largest provider of payment plans and billing services to schools throughout the United States. How Fax Payment Plan works: if you're paying in full or a 2-semester payment, you can do a direct payment transfer, which would be a direct debit from a savings or a checking account. You can choose the payment due date, which is some default dates the school set, the 1st, 5th, 10th, or 15th of the month. And if you give us your email address, you get a reminder 4 days before your payment happens. If you'd like to do that with a credit card, you could do that too, maybe get the points that are associated with that. Once again, those dates are the same. If you provide that email address, we do that. But so that the school doesn't have to incur the cost of the credit card, we pass that 2.85% service fee along to families as well. So sometimes that's an incentive to get more credit card points and save things, save some funds up on the side for other things you might need. And if you're paying in 1 or 2 payments, you could get an invoice that's mailed to you. You can make a check payable to fax or through the fax payment portal. A payment for in full is due before July 15th. If you're going to work with monthly payments, the 2 options exist. Once again, that's that automatic payment transfer, a direct debit from a savings or checking account, or the credit card payments. So those 2 options are there if you choose a monthly payment plan. If there's a hardship, something happens, the fax platform is school controlled. We give the school the ability to change whatever they need to within the system to accommodate families. So we encourage you to contact the school immediately, and fax can modify a payment plan 2 days in advance of a payment due date. And that's why we send you an email notice 4 days in advance of your payment due date. We don't change the payment terms without the school's authorization because that could play havoc with their cash flow in order to pay their bills. But that fax platform is real time, so that when a change is made, you're going to be able to see that. You'll get a notice that a change has been made to authenticate that change for you. If you miss a payment, though, if something happens that you just forget or whatever, we're going to send you a notification, and the school is going to be notified as well. And we'll do a reattempt 15 days later. That could give you time to replenish your account or get things in order or get more money in the account. But there's a $30 NSF fee that's charged 5 days after the due date, so that the school doesn't get that charged from the bank. But Once again, if there's going to be a hardship coming up, or you've chosen the date of the 15th and the 17th as a payment, as your payday or something like that, you can always call the school. The school can help modify that payment date to help you avoid that $30 fee. And if a payment fails twice, it's going to be attempted one more time with an additional fee, just to let you on your toes that this is something that you really can't let slide. Please communicate with the school if there's a hardship. Tim said there's, they're always there. Tim and Christine are there to help you out. They're there to help you out with this too. The business office is there to help you with this as well. For the 21-22 school year coming up, there's a small fee for the fax payment. If there's a payment in full, there's no cost. If you're going to make a payment in 2 payments, there's a cost of $15. And if you're going to make a cost or payment in 3 or more payments, there's a cost of $47. So that's the fees to that, and that's why we encourage a way to encourage that in full pay at no cost. So to enroll in a payment plan, here's what would happen. You might have seen on that little chart that says to sign up for a payment plan. You don't have to do that. You'll get an email that details your tuition and fees from the school. There'll be a link in that email to sign on for a payment plan. And then you can choose your method. If you want to do an ACH, which would be a direct debit, pay with a credit card, or like I said, for an invoice, you can do those 1 or 2 payments via an invoice. Choose the payment term, 1, 2, or monthly payments, and then choose your payment date. So 3 clicks and you're done choosing your payment plan. And within 10 days of choosing that plan, that's where we assess that fee if there is going to be one. So if you choose with a 2-pay plan and get an invoice for that, that $15 would be added to your first payment. Some important things to remember: Prep Villa has full control over the fax platform. It's like I said, it's school controlled. The school can change a payment date if you need that kind of assistance. They can split payment amounts. They can move a payment, or say you choose a 10-month payment plan and you need something different, or what, they can create an entirely new payment plan for you. And it's a real-time receivables picture for the school, so it helps to provide them with timely reporting. You have the ability to check those. You can sign on to your fax platform. You can see all your payments. You can download history. You can do all those kinds of things to keep track of all those payments just on your mobile device or on your computer. And if you have questions, it's a toll-free number, that 866-411-4637. That's emblazoned all over our website for you to be able to call that if you have questions there. That if you can't get a hold of the school, then we're there to help you as well with account managers who are there 24/7 for you. That's pretty much my end of the conversation. If you have questions, you can certainly put them on the chat information, and we'll do our best as a team here to answer them for you. Tim?
Sorry about that. Thank you, Mike.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, the tuition's a bummer. There's it's no doubt about that. I mean, it's not fun. But I will tell you that when you see your child graduating, you're gonna say it was worth every single penny. Every single spring, the parents tell me all the time how they would do it again. They was worth every sacrifice they made. So one thing I want to clarify is that Christine and I, we are more than happy to help the families with everything you're going to need help with applying for financial aid, the scholarships, giving you that information. Now, what Christine and I don't do is we don't decide what you receive in financial aid. It's actually a good thing, because I would be wanting to give everyone tons of financial aid. But it's a good thing that we don't do that, but we don't actually do that. And the other thing is that the school is great at helping families that need help with their payments. If they have to cancel a payment, or they want to adjust their payments, they want to pay off sooner, they want to pay, they might have to pay off later, they had a hardship, which is going to make it difficult. So we're able to do that for you, but that would not be me or Christine. You would want to call the finance office. You will have all their contact information when you're enrolled, but that would be Eileen Berenger, our tuition manager, and she would handle setting up payment plans, making adjustments, in all of those things. So Christine and I you can call us and we could, ask you, transfer you to Eileen or, do our best to help you, but we wouldn't personally be doing that. I would like to, at this time, kind of go over, we had a few questions come in, and I'd just like to go over them real quick. One family asked if a student can apply for more than one art scholarship, and you can apply for more than one, but it's not likely that they would be awarded more than one. Because of the number of scholarships, we do like to have as many students as possible receive those scholarships. Is it impossible? No, it's not impossible, but it is unlikely. The next question we received is, do you need to fill out the financial aid forms to receive the $3,000 yearly credit if you know it's the only aid you will receive? And the answer is yes. You would have to fill out that fax form each of the 4 years to get that $3,000. That's a requirement for a few different reasons, but you would need to do that to get the $3,000 each year. You would not need to fill out the diocesan form. The diocesan form is the one that's on paper. You print it out, you fill it out with pen, and you mail it in. That one is not tied to the CESP. The fax application is what's important. So you want to make sure that you don't get those mixed up. I've had families call me and say, hey, I thought we applied and we didn't get it. And they filled out the wrong application. So you're going to make sure you fill out the fax application. If you already have a fax account, can you use that? You would have to create a new fax account for Prep and Villa. If you have a child at a Catholic grade school, you would not be able to use that same fax account. Are you required to use fax for payment plan management if you're not applying to apply for aid? Yes, you would have to use the fax payment system to make payments. They will not, they typically won't have you come in and just mail in a payment every month. With a number of families, it would be an insane amount of time for our finance office to keep track of that. So that's part of the reason we use fax, is they make it real nice and easy for us. So you would have to, yeah.
Tim, can I jump in there for a second?
Yeah, here, let me put you in here.
Okay, just in terms of that, can you use the same fax account? If you have applied for financial aid in the past, whether that would be to the Catholic schools, the Erie Catholic school system, because they've used the process in the past. But if you've applied for financial aid on the system, you would go in, you would put your information in, and the system would probably pop something up to say, is this you? Because it will find your information within the system. So in that respect, that's not necessarily a different fax account. But if you've not paid tuition through it, then you're going to get a new letter that comes from the school directly for that. Don't sign up for a payment plan at Cathedral Prep, because that information will come from the school. I hope that makes a little bit, because the high school Prep Villa does a little bit differently than all the other elementary schools in the diocese do.
Mike, if you have children at two different schools, a Catholic grade school and Prep Villa, will you be charged 2 fax fees?
Yes, you would. And the reason is that everyone is on separate banks. In other words, in order to protect all that information is with Prep Villa, and then going into their banking accounts, and that information is for the other schools. It's going into those schools' bank accounts. There's not one big quote unquote diocesan bank account where everything goes. We do have some things set up that way in different dioceses across the United States, but it's not very common. And that's actually I would say a tax law, because if there's a different tax ID number that goes along with things, then they're considered separate entities. So that's why there's a different additional fee. Now, that's something that is with a payment plan, but it's not that way with the financial aid application. The financial aid application is that fee that you would pay, and that's across any school that does financial aid or any scholarship organization that does financial aid through fax. So that's a great distinction. That's a great question, and thank you so much for asking that. Really good question.
Mike, is there any way online to easily change a fax payment, or do you have to call or email the school to do so?
With your school, I believe you have to call the school. And Ross is shaking his head yes. There are some times that, there are adjustments that can be made. It's a setting within the system. There are schools that have tried that and then have gone back to the other, because everybody goes in and changes it. So that's why we leave that control to the school to be able to move that payment. And then it can be wherever they need to move a payment to. So it's just a phone call. Eileen's great. She's very helpful in what goes on there, and but yeah, it's a quick phone call to the school, and they'll be able to certainly accommodate you.
All right, I'm going to come back. I think that was most of the questions for you. Someone asked when the 10-month plans start, and typically they would begin in July and run through April. And I'm just seeing if there's any other questions here. And I believe that we have answered all of the questions that have been sent in. So here's one. Can you make manual payments in addition to the scheduled payment plan? Yes, you can. If you brought in, hey, you got $1,000, you want to put it towards the tuition, you can bring that in, mail in a check, whatever, and that would be applied to the tuition balance, and then they would adjust your tuition payments. So, they would, lower them accordingly. So they would do that for you. The finance office isn't going to turn down any tuition payments that are brought in directly to the school. So if anyone has any other questions, you please email me or Christine. I know that we're throwing a lot of this stuff out at you, and it might seem confusing, all these scholarships, financial aid applications. The best thing to do is to pick up the phone and have a conversation with either me or Christine. Tell us your family circumstances, and we'll let you know everything that you qualify for, all the financial aid, all the scholarships, and we'll talk about, what you think is affordable for you with tuition, and we will try to take the steps required to get you there. Okay, I will do everything I can, and almost always it works out. Christine will do the same thing. She's been doing this for years. I've been here for a while, and I don't get paid extra whether your child enrolls or not. I don't get a bonus, but Christine and I, we sincerely care. We want the children to have this opportunity. We want the students to be able to go to this great school. So we will do whatever we can. I look forward to working with each and every one of you. And if Christine, Mike, and Ross are okay, I think that I guess we would be okay to conclude the meeting. I just got one other question here at the end. Does Fax allow you to work on it and then return to it at a later time? And yes, when you're working on your application, you can save and exit and then come back. But if anyone else has any questions, please email us. And if everyone is good, we're going to say good night. And I look forward to working with you. And also, the open house is Thursday. Everyone who comes in, all the students comes in, get one of these really cool CP winter hats. So we hope that you'll come in, learn more about our renovations, the expansion, and all the exciting things going on. So see you Thursday night, 6 p.m. here in person. Have a great night, and thank you very much.